The Falls Count Everywhere podcast would like to mention our friends at the following. We Talk Wrestling. For the one stop you need for the most intriguing stories and headlines, and info on independent shows in multiple regions, We Talk Wrestling has you covered. Subscribe to Facebook's #1 interactive community for professional wrestling today. Pro wrestling on Tuesdays are a blast with the Wrestle Talk podcast. Join the Night Owl, DJ Big Sexy, Luke Roberts, The Alpha, Jay Wade, Nightmare Jones, and many others as they bring you the hottest takes on the major circuits, showcase interviews with various indie stars, and the only place to get news on the most popular fantasy wrestling promotion, the FWWC. Catch them every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Central. Find all of their media outlets on their website at WrestleTalkPodcast.com.
Before each and every show, we like to remind our audience that freedom is never free, and all of us should be grateful to those who lay it all on the line. To all our first responders, military, and volunteers that help our nation every day, we love you and appreciate the sacrifices you make to protect all of us.
Get ready for episode number 145 of the Falls Count Everywhere podcast, as we welcome the worldwide, well-renowned photographer who's captured many memorable moments across the globe through the camera lens and played many pivotal roles in the world of professional wrestling for over 50 years. Scott Romer! This podcast is scheduled for one episode, where falls count everywhere.
And happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody. Or some would say happy Taco Day, but welcome to Falls Count Everywhere. I wouldn't say Taco Day.
Today's a lot better day than it is yesterday. I'm just saying. We know why. So.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I know how you are, Truckee. So I know. So you don't need that. Don't need to tell me.
You know, I could turn this into something else really quick. I'm just saying, but I won't.
Oh, stop getting so offended. Good Lord.
So pathetic.
You know, I'm really loaded up to give you guys some praise here. But before I get into that, I am Rough Cut Rick Ruby here on the top left. To the top right, of course, the Gem City Mouse Zmiz. And of course, DQ down here at the bottom, still trying to give me crap as always every freaking week. But
love the shirt, Z.
Thank you. Isn't that nice?
Yep. Yeah, I know you're sharing, buddy. So that's why I hear that.
I was going to say, are we watching the show while we're doing it too?
Man, I'm in the process of sharing it out, getting it out there. Because remember, you guys gotta share us. If you like hearing us, maybe somebody else would like hearing us. So I'm just over here doing some work. What are you're feeding your face?
Well, I'm kind of tripping, thinking something neurological going on here, but I digress. I'm good. So like I said, congratulations or applause for a couple things here. First off, I want to send a shout out to GQ here because as of this past weekend, GQ, you've now completed 27 years in the wrestling industry. Yeah.
I forgot about the second dance. I forgot all about that one.
See, look at that. And then, and Zmiz, I got to say congrats to you, my friend. And I think there's a reason why you're wearing it. Look at this, everybody.
Yeah.
You can now officially get a We Talk Wrestling shirt. This is by the wokebrand.com. So the Woke AF affiliates here. I just like, if I can maximize, let's just maximize this here for just a short bit. I'm going to take the names off for just a moment. But look at this. This is actually, you can do the code right now, and we're going to keep it up here for a little bit. But it's the brand new We Talk Wrestling shirt. That is, I think it starts out at $35, but they are custom made. If you can actually go to the website or scan the code, once again, it's the wokebrand.com. You just search for We Talk Wrestling, and that shirt will be there. But congratulations.
The QR code
Z.
should take you right to the shirt, actually, if not mistaken.
Right.
And big shout out to Terry, man. So my buddy Rush, he's also the gentleman that made my crazy good entrance music. So when you see me at Illinois Elite Wrestling, I come walking out, I'm coming out to his voice. Even my man is a gift to this earth and somebody that's been backing me from day one. And I'm so happy to be part of the Woke Affiliate family. So yeah, big shout out to Terry Rush.
Right. And so that's the wokebrand.com. That is the WHOAQ brand.com is where you want to go. But I am super excited. And we had comedic talks about how this shirt probably is not in my size, but you're wrong.
I go all the way to big boy.
they do go up to 6XL in the shirt, but trust me, you're going to be paying a pretty penny for it. But it's going to be all worth it to help benefit We Talk Wrestling, to help benefit the Woke brand, and to get the most awesome purple shirt in wrestling today. So
yeah, dude, look at that little prairie dog.
I know.
By the way, prairie dogs are my favorite animals of all time. So like that is my go-to. Big shout out to the fact that I had one. I have had two actually, pet prairie dogs, but they are like the most amazing creature ever. So that logo represents me completely, and I love it.
Yep. So so definitely we're gonna have it up here before the end of the night here too, or in between. And once again, We Talk. I just love how the logo is popping out on that shirt. How he just makes that logo pop, man. So
good.
I see what's really good. Z has merchandise now online. I have merchandise online. When you going to get motivated, Ruby?
I don't know when I have to stop babysitting you from doing something crazy every week. How about that?
I didn't do nothing bad.
Not yet. I know, I'm just giving you hell. I got a very hectic schedule here. Of course, we're going to talk about May's going to be even crazier. Like I said, 2024 is just going. I mean, it's just started here, and it's going to get even busier. At least I know for me, and I know at least for the show. We're just trying to make everything flow and work all together here at the Falls Count Everywhere podcast, and of course, where we're making our appearances as well. For this, so speaking about appearances here, let's kind of talk about what we're here for tonight. With our featured guest. With our featured guest here tonight, who's been inside the wrestling industry for 50 years, and that was just his start. And even before then, he was a wrestling. He just loved wrestling just from the get-go, just when he was a young child. And this is actually, he wrote this book, or at least co-authored with this book here, When It Was My Life on Both Sides of the Camera. And of course, we'll talk in that a little bit later on here. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and put your hands together for your guest of the evening, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Scott Romer. Put you up here. There we go.
I'm very excited to be here. I'm very excited to be on your show.
All right, man. Well, once again, thanks for taking the time to chat with us here. And like I said, you've got a lot of things going on here. And Scott will be one of our guests at the SICW Fan Fest 2. That will be in St. Louis, Missouri, South County, St. Louis, Missouri, to be exact. Once again, it's on the weekend. We're less than 2 weeks away, guys. May 17th and 18th. Well, 17th being the Bill After One Man show. That will be, like I said, it's not just going to be Bill After, guys. I'm hearing some other names are going to kind of fill in to kind of make that a little bit entertaining. So, and I don't know if they are sold out or they're very close to be, but tickets are very slim if there are any left. So, but once again, there's still passes available. SICW.org is where you want to go to get your passes for the Big Fan Fest, where Scott's going to be part of. Like I said, we've got a booth that's going to be there as well. We're going to be doing a live broadcast there that day, and hopefully we get some people to stop in by our table, maybe chat with us a bit. And we're just going to have a lot of fun here. But enough of that for now. Scott, how are things going for you? And what you been up to lately?
Well, things couldn't really be better. I've been making my rounds at different fan fests, advertising my book. I've been traveling a little bit with Rip Rogers, and we worked the gathering in North Carolina as well as Squared Circle Expo. We did an event in Kentucky. So and I have to give credit also to Bobby Fulton and Dylan Fulton for having me come out to their big time wrestling events, and they're like family, and they did some stuff with the Ohio Wrestling Hall of Fame and included me in with the ceremony. So I feel very welcome and at home with them, as well as Herb Simmons. You know, Herb and I go back many, many years. I was there at the first Bruiser Brody Memorial Tournament back in, I think it was in '88. And I talk about it in my book as well. And I just have nothing but good memories in the wrestling business, and having Herb Simmons and Darla Skaggs, they're like family to me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes, Darla, of course. Yeah. Yeah, so hopefully get to see Darla again this year. Of course, I know Barbara Goodish will be there. Of course, the widow of Bruiser Brody, who will be presenting the winner of the Bruiser Memorial Battle Royal, which once again, I'm going to put my hat in the ring for that again and see how I do. But I digress. But that's enough of that for now, because I don't want to get Z upset, because he's not going to bet any money on me anymore since I keep losing. So
it's not true.
So fair enough, right? So yeah. So you mentioned about Rip Rogers. Of course, Rip Rogers is one of your or your best friend, right? And you guys were actually, I know you were roommates. I don't know if you still are, but but yeah, I know Rip was there last year, and I think it's going to be here again this year, I think.
Okay. Well, I haven't talked to him since I moved out. And,
okay.
I bought a new home.
There you go.
55, and I'm in a 55 and older community, and I wanted to be alone without a roommate. But Rip was my roommate for about 2 years. And I also managed him way back in the 90s. We would run into each other at different shows around the country. And, that we bonded that way. He's from, Indiana. I was photographed one of his first matches when he wrestled with his real name, Mark Shera. And I watched him climb the ladder to a very prominent position, and then of course he became a he was also training WWE wrestlers as well as in WCW, and I'm glad to have him as a friend.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking about him.
Yeah, and I also rumored that he was part of that popular class down in OVW around 2000 or 2001.
Well, he was also part owner of OVW as well. And, he's 70 and nursing a lot of injuries that he had. He got hit by a car a while back.
Oh, my goodness. No.
He can't get into the ring anymore. So,
oh my goodness.
He has, self-conscious about that. So a lot of times, we've got Rip Rogers here. Rip, come on over. He can hardly walk, so he might disappear during that announcement. But he loves to be in the business. He loves still being a part of it. He's working out constantly. But age has taken its toll on him and also me.
Yeah, like I said,
I might as well. This is the first time I've told anybody, so I'm going to tell the world. I delayed spinal surgery to the week after the Herb Simmons Southern Illinois Championship Wrestling Fan Fest.
Oh my!
So on the 24th, On the Friday after Herb's show, I'm having spinal surgery.
Oh my.
Wow.
Oh well, definitely.
None of us
Prayers
envy you
and
on
good
that.
vibes.
Correct.
Yeah, it's definitely prayers and good vibes here.
Thank
Your
you.
back is nothing to be, mess around with, especially because anything can pinch the spinal cord. You just don't know what you're going to get. You know, when that's affected, or if you have any type of situations going on here with. I
And
didn't realize I had a.
it's been an ongoing thing for
Yeah.
about 40 years. So
Uh,
now I'm walking off balance, and sort of the feet aren't working like they used to. So this is going to relieve both the pain and hopefully get me back to normal.
oh man, yeah, I definitely hope so, and we'll definitely be thinking of you and praying for that. So yeah, this definitely is something that will definitely give you some great relief with after it being successful for you. So, so let's kind of get into the grit here. Let's kind of take you way back here to your childhood. Share with us when you started, when you did start watching wrestling, like around what age, and what do you remember most about your favorite wrestlers you like watching growing up?
Well, in our day, in the early to mid '60s, which was I was a little older than a toddler, so I was 5 or 6 in the mid '60s. I would turn on the TV, and to get Channel 4, they had Championship Wrestling, and I learned to manipulate the antenna until it came out clear from Channel 4, WTTV Studios, and they had the studio wrestling and with Dick the Bruiser, and not a lot of people in the audience, but I was fascinated with it. And so I learned that Saturday is the day that they had wrestling at 11 or 12 o'clock p.m. And I was a hyperactive kid, and so I used to see shrinks. They didn't have it diagnosed as ADD back in those days, but the psychiatrist recommended me going to wrestling shows, and my grandfather used to take him to me, and I was so fascinated. I loved it so much, and I used to take a Instamatic camera and sneak up at the ring and take pictures. And a cop would throw me out. I'd sneak over on the other side, wiggling, and all of a sudden they were pretty good. And my grandfather got older and stopped taking me. And then in junior high, I was going to after about 3 or 4 years, I started going to the wrestling shows with David McLean of the gentleman that founded Women of Wrestling and Glow. He was my best friend, and in middle school, we did a wrestling show with us students, underclassmen, as the wrestlers, David McLean included. And we were able to we called Dick the Bruiser up. We got his number somehow, and he declined to go. But Sam Miniker, who was the ring announcer and color commentator for the WWA Championship Wrestling out of Indianapolis, and he came and was somewhat fascinated, although we used blood capsules. And he called us into the locker room and said we were a disgrace. That Jimmy Valiant and Dick the Bruiser's head will never be the same from all the scars that they have. And you guys are pulling this crap. And, he said, whose idea was this? And David McLean spoke up and said it was me. And then Sam took him into the corner and said, hey, man, that was a hell of a promotion. You're going to be a big promoter someday. And look what's happened to him now. He owns Women of Wrestling with Jeannie Buss, the owner of the women of the LA Lakers. And in my case, I was able to avoid working a real job, making very little money, but surviving on the road, traveling around the world, babysitting wrestlers, babysitting boxers, and also photographing wrestling matches for Gong Wrestling Magazine out of Tokyo, Japan. They were sending me, Canada. I worked Stu Hart. I worked every major territory at one time or another. Bill Watts, Eddie Graham, Detroit, all of them. I was able to work every single one, including the WWF and, St. Louis. The WWF invaded. I was photographing for them. I was photographing at the same time the St. Louis Wrestling Club. And then Larry Matisak broke off with Herb Simmons and did Southern Illinois Championship Wrestling. I was working for all three of them. That's unheard of, to work with all the oppositions. But I got away with murder in wrestling.
So take us back to like when you actually got involved in photography, and how did you, how were you able to make it a business adventure, photography, photoing, boxing, wrestling, and all the other crazy things you photoed?
Well, I worked in a boxing office as a photographer. The same thing with boxing. I was fascinated with boxing. I used to sneak up at the ring, get in everyone's way, be thrown out, and I knew the back door. I'd crawl back up and photograph the matches, and the promoter saw them, and they, this is boxing. And they were quite good. I captured the moment, and somehow or another, I've got the perfect eye for capturing the most perfect pictures during the time. And it captured the eye of people, and everything just kind of exploded. Again, I traveled around the world in boxing as well, babysitting boxers, wrapping their hands, and in wrestling. I traveled mostly by myself for Gong Wrestling Magazine, and would hook up with Wally Yamaguchi, who was a bigwig. He was a manager, and Jimmy Suzuki was one of my bosses as well. And so they would send me all over the country and all over the continent. I couldn't have asked for a neater job. I met Stu Hart. I got hooked up with All Japan Pro Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Onita, Victor Quiona's organization, Wing, I guess it was, and a AAA in Mexico. And so I traveled as a brokester and, made my connections, and usually hooked up with the wrestlers, and they would drive me around, and they didn't know me really for Adam, except that I was a photographer, and they all accepted me. So I traveled in Mexico with Rey Mysterio and Conan one time. They drove around, and I didn't even know Rey was a wrestler at the time. He looked like a young 15-year-old kid, and I didn't, I would meet these people. Everybody had, it smartens you up, because, when wrestling was territorial, you only knew about your own organization for the live matches. And then everybody had the son-in-law that became a superstar. And, when I went to Canada and worked Stu Hart's territory for Gong Wrestling Magazine, you saw David Boy Smith and Bret the Hitman Hart, and so everyone had their own following, and everybody was a family member, is what I'm trying to say. And then when Spike Huber broke up with Dick the Bruiser's daughter, I moved in and ended up marrying her, becoming Dick the Bruiser's son-in-law.
Love that phrase.
And that, that's experiences nobody can buy. That you just
exactly.
So, after you were making, your money, selling the photos to all the magazines and stuff like that, traveling for them, going to all the different promotions. You also had the encounter with Dick the Bruiser. How you two became business partner? Like, explain how you became business partners and how the experience led to more success in your photography career.
Well, David McLean and I, we were easing our way towards ringside and taking pictures, and they were good. And then we started printing them up and during intermission showing them to the fans and selling out. We had a handful. We were doing this for a long time, sort of bootlegging. No one really knew what was going on. And all of a sudden, Bruiser caught wind of it and called me upstairs, one of the cops came and got me. Oh, I was petrified. The head cop came and got me and said, the Bruiser wants to see you immediately. You're selling pictures, aren't you? And he took me upstairs, and I walked past all the wrestlers, kayfabe, and they were all in the same dressing room. And they took me to Bruiser and Snyder's dressing room, and Bruiser had a few pictures, and he said, are these yours? Yes, sir, they are. And are you selling them? Yes. Man, these are great pictures. You're allowed to sell them, but I want 20%. And that was my pass, and David got in the same way. That was our pass into the dressing room, waiting for our turn to be called, which was usually last, sitting with the wrestlers, having beers with them at 15, 16 years of age, and waiting with them while they got paid for us to be called into Bruiser and Snyder's dressing room so we could pay them our 20%. And it was, worth every penny. So I was photographing, me and David became ringside photographers, and we started selling them to the wrestling news. Norman Teacher's magazine. He had a sort of a regional wrestling magazine, and every once in a while my pictures were used in the WWF issue and the AWA as well. And with my name in print at a very young age, everybody was recognizing my name, for having it published. And then I would always include pictures of me. So they were publishing my picture. Maybe I'd have a picture of me showing Dick the Bruiser an issue of the wrestling news, and they would stick that in the magazine. So I became a sort of a well-known figure as far as being a photographer is concerned. But when I married Bruiser's daughter, he told me to grow a beard and turned me into a wrestling manager and started calling me Saul Creechman. And so this was after Bobby Heenan. I followed in his footsteps, and for about a year and a half, I was the heel manager for the WWA under the name of Saul Creechman.
Wow. All these crazy stories, and we haven't even tipped the iceberg on things, because outside of the wrestling ring or the boxing ring, you've also got to experience and have many travels in global different spots where you took photos of not so well-known photos, but still known to you and stuff. What are some of those photos? Which one of those would be one of those experiences that touched you the most?
Well, behind me is a picture of Muhammad Ali and his baby. And this was at one of Fred Burns, who is one of my fathers in my book. I've got 4 fathers during different times in my life that took me under their wing. My own father wanted nothing to do with me. So I was lucky to have 4 father figures with quite a bit of influence. One being George Randazzo, who was president of the National Italian American Sports Hall of Fame. He made me his personal photographer about 30 years ago. And he would get me into gigs he was well connected, you might say. And he was getting me gigs all over the country working with presidents, prime ministers, heads of states, governors. the people in the with his organization, their fathers were like Al Capone's attorney, or one of them was Jackie the Lackey Cerrone, his son. Jackie the Lackey Cerrone died. I think might have died in prison, but he was head of the outfit. They call the outfit that's what the Chicago mob is called, the outfit. So I was able to get involved with these heavy hitters that were predecessors of the now defunct mob. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they were getting me gigs, flying me out with them. Yogi Berra, Tommy Lasorda, Ray Boom Boom Mancini. In fact, I was just awarded one of their top awards from the National Italian American Sports Hall of Fame, their Friendship Award, at a sold-out boxing show at the Des Plaines Theater. Ray Boom Boom Mancini presented it to me with Antonio Tarver. I am the only non-Italian to get the award.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
And this was at the Des Plaines Theater in Des Plaines, Illinois. And somehow or another, Google has a picture of me being presented the award of Ron Onesti, the now president of the National Italian American Sports Hall of Fame, giving me the award. And then right next to that picture, if you Google my name, right next to that picture is Ron and the Pope. So all you got to do is Google Scott Romer, go to images, and the first picture is me and the National Italian American Sports Hall of Fame award with Ron Onesti, and a picture of Ron Onesti a week later with the Pope. But, this picture right here has got me international exposure, and I have sold that one for a lot of money to a very wealthy lady one time. And I was able to present it to Muhammad Ali at a ceremony where he was not doing very well, but when he saw that picture, he got up, shook my hand, gave me a hug, and from then on we were friends. Every time he'd see me, he'd flag and tell his security personnel that he's okay, and I got to sit with him and photograph him, and he remembered me, but he didn't really talk very much. You know what I'm saying? So not only do I have that picture, but I've got a whole bunch of other pictures of Muhammad Ali. Here was one where I was invited to, there he is with the Dalai Lama. And I took that picture in Bloomington, Indiana, where he was a special guest with the Dalai Lama.
Nice.
And so I've even seen pictures of you that you were taking photography of President and First Lady George and Barbara Bush too. I mean, you've been everywhere.
Yes,
I mean,
again, this was for the National Italian American Foundation in Washington, D.C., the largest gathering of Italian American people in the country. The one event that draws the largest Italian American people. You know what I'm saying? So here I am, and again, a Jew working the event, and as with Yogi Berra, I'm on the entourage with Yogi Berra and Tommy Lasorda, and that was every year I was with them, and Frankie Valli of the Four Seasons, and Chief Justice Alito and Scalia, and so I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. What was your question?
I think you pretty much nailed Z's question, but I'm a manager on the independent scene, so I want to go back to.
Wait. You asked me how I got that. I'm sorry for interrupting.
You're fine.
I got it. George Randazzo just told Secret Service I'm okay. And then I got to hang around with the president for all day and all the way up to when he went to his car, and so I'm not sure whether that's in my book, but I've got pictures with all relaxed. Everyone's relaxed now, and the shaking hand business is over, and it's in his private limousine SUV, and you could see me with the camera from the reflection of the shiny car taking pictures. So, I've been able to work with some of the wealthiest, some of the most powerful people in the world, and these are all through my connections that I made through professional boxing and professional wrestling.
One of those connections, Mr. Herb Simmons himself, we're going to see him in 2 weeks, is telling you hello right now, my friend. So
absolutely, Herb. The day I left Michelle, my Dick the Bruiser's daughter, I ran to the next day. I was broke, so I went to Herb Simmons' show. I think that was the first time I met him, and I didn't even know Spike Huber, the former husband, was going to be on the show. And Dirty Dick Murdoch came up to me and said, "I hear you left Michelle." Like, oh my God, how the hell did he know that? Dick the Bruiser's daughter. They said you beat her up pretty good, and the cops are looking for you. It was all a rib. But I'm I'm watching my back while I'm photographing. That was the first Bruiser Brody Memorial Battle Royal. I think if Herb was that 88 or 89. And
we'll have to wait for him to get to that one and everything.
Yeah, I know.
You gotta love old school ribs, how they were back then. You gotta love that.
It was great. It was great. That story is in my book, by the way. My book is when it was my life on both sides of the camera. And we didn't mention John Cosper, my co-author, who took an interest in my stories, and I showed him pictures. I met him at a wrestling show. He was selling a book with Madman Pondo, and there was a long line, and I waited for him and got a chance to talk to him and told him who I was, and he checked my credentials and decided, it would be a good story. And it has been a life changer. I've been, because I've had all these stories in me, but I couldn't express them because they were too unreal to tell people. What am I going to do? Tell someone, oh, I was involved in the Bruiser Brody stabbing, one way or another with this Onita. Who's going to believe the story? You know what I'm saying? But the book has the pictures of me working with the presidents, working with Onita, working with Baba, so working with Dick the Bruiser, working with Saul Creechman, working a real job, the very few times that I worked a real job, and so I got to thank wrestling for keeping me and boxing for keeping me from having to work the dreaded real job.
Yeah, definitely a blessing there. And we're putting up the artwork of your book here, and also there's a QR code here that we've got up there. This QR code would actually take you to Amazon.com, where this book is available. This is the paperback link, but you can also choose for hardcover as well. So if you like to purchase the book through Amazon, there's your QR code there. So is your book available anywhere else besides Amazon, Scott?
Well, I'll tell you what I will do. If someone goes to, I took my website down, but if you go to my Facebook page, Scott Romer, and you give me your information, I will call you, or send me a check. We'll figure it out. I will call you, and if you mention your podcast while writing me, I will pay for shipping. How does that sound? And autograph it too. On Amazon, it won't be autographed, but I will pay for shipping. The book is $25, and I will pay for shipping on it.
All right. Well, like I said, you're also available on Facebook as Scott Romer on Facebook, right?
Romer, yes. Just
Yes.
tell me you're interested. Give me your number.
Right.
I'll call you. I'm
Here's
old
also
school.
Here's also another good question here. Will you have this book available at the SICW Fan Fest too?
Absolutely. I just got a new shipment in, so they
Okay.
will be available, and I'm looking forward to meeting all the fans at the Southern Illinois Championship Wrestling. And there is one particular fan I want to mention. Oh, God, why can't I remember her name? It just came to my mind. What is her name? But a young girl, she's following in my footsteps. I've got a fan that wants to be a wrestling photographer, and she's following in my footsteps. And I think Herb knows about her. She's all excited, and she's going to be photographing the Fan Fest as well. And
awesome!
I'll remember her name in a second. But these are the perks to where I'm at right now, is having people that idolize you enough that they tell you about it. Their dad tells you about it, and they want to.
Oh, I know her too. Carrie.
Carrie, yeah. What's her last name?
Herb didn't say yet.
Okay, right. Okay, but it's little things like that that money can't buy.
I'm guessing it's Carrie Williams, I believe.
Huh?
Carrie Williams, I believe.
I don't think it's Carrie Williams, but she'll be there, and I'm sure. God, why can't I? Damn. Okay.
And I don't know why that name Carrie Williams is.
I know it's not Carrie Williams
right now too. So I think I might have known this. If I see the face, I probably remember.
On top of that, she's number one academically in her class and very athletic as well. In what is it? In her softball or something like that. I'm looking forward to meeting all the fans. Herb, thank you so much for making me a part of this, and also putting my picture on the poster. I doubt I sold any tickets, but you still think of me.
Like I said, I got last year's poster here on my wall. I meant to rearrange it to where I could have it shown more, but yeah, you're on that very left edge here. So, yes, so you're on there.
I think I'm just below Spike Huber, husband number one. I was husband number two. And at the last one, I had a little family reunion, and it was so good to see my ex-wife, Dick the Bruiser's daughter. She's still very beautiful. She gave me a hug, Spike, it was okay, but it was so nice to see them. They are wonderful people and doing very, very well. So Herb made that happen.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, in fact, you're actually right below Bob Orton, I think, and then Spike's above you here. But tomato, you guys are in the same row, kind of. So, but yeah, you pretty much nailed it here. I think GQ had something he was lined up to get ready to ask you here, though.
Yeah, with me being as a manager on the independent scene, I'm just more curious about, like, how did your time as Saul Creechman, how did that come about? What was the idea behind the character, and what's some of the experiences you remember from it?
Well, Dick the Bruiser fired a manager for hitting a fan. His name was Rooster Griffith. I was dating Michelle at the time, Bruiser's daughter, and she lived next door to Dick the Bruiser. So I was over at the house and called over, and he said, I want you to grow a beard. You're going to be the next manager, and I'm going to call you Jaime Creechman. I had an Uncle Jaime, but at that time, Reverend Jesse Jackson, called the Jewish people Jaimes. So that was a little controversial thing amongst the Jewish people, and Bruiser caught wind of that, and he changed his mind, and I became Saul Creechman. I was a combination of Eddie the Brain Creechman and Saul Weingroff. I grew a beard, and before you know it, I'm going to the TV stations with no no speech prepared or whatever, and I'm doing promos as a bad guy manager. And for the most part, I was pretty well. I did my job well. I caught on very quickly. There was really no formal training. I was in very good shape though, and a bunch of my matches are on YouTube. If you go to Bruiser's WWA, go to Championship Wrestling WWA or whatever, and from '84 and '85 there's a bunch. The first person I managed as Saul Creechman with no experience whatsoever was Harley Race. He brought in Harley Race, and I had the hat and the cane, and and to get over, all I had to do was listen to Harley, and it was really amazing because Harley would sell and then tell you what to do. Get up on the ring, and it was like a ventriloquist. He knew how to throw his voice. You're seeing him in pain, and not moving his lips, but you're hearing him get in. I need you to interfere right now. Or dump, or whatever. And it was an amazing experience. And for a while there, I became the regular manager for Championship Wrestling, which we had television in Chicago as well. It was Chicago Wrestling with Bob Luce, and they were giving me all kinds of airtime because no one else was showing up at the TV station. So I got all this airtime, and we were on right after Vern Gagne. He had an hour-long show, and when his show was over for a half hour, I think it was on a different channel, Channel 44, Chicago. We had a half hour with Bob Luce, with me in the studio with Bob Luce.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, like you said, being a
Definitely
wrestler.
enjoy hearing how managers are used back then and everything. I mean, it's definitely good like information to hold.
Well, you learn that less is more. You know what I mean? If I keep on interfering and grabbing a person's leg, it means nothing. But if I do something one or two times during the match, and then look like I'm out of my element when it's time to get beat up, or just barely escape. You want to keep on building it up, of course. And I would just barely escape, so I knew how to, I would cause near riots. I had a lot of people. I don't want to sound braggadocious, but I created a lot of heat very early on, and to follow me was tough. After about 2 months in the business, I had it pretty well figured out from hanging around it for so long, and as a manager, and as a manager, I ended up wrestling. I was the first intergender wrestling match in the state of Indiana. I had to wrestle Bob Luce's wife, Sharon Last. As a scared manager. Anybody could beat up Saul Creechman. Even a woman. So this was during the Andy Kaufman era, and I became, I was Saul Creechman wrestling women, and on one of the tapes is a picture of me thinking that it's a YouTube video of me thinking that it's Princess Jasmine, but it was Calypso Jim, who is now Bobo Brazil Jr., giving me an ass whipping, and that's on tape.
Yeah, so, I happened to see that.
But the fans went absolutely nuts throughout the whole match, and Bobo Brazil came in. I made a comeback. I was taking boots and beating Calypso on the head after he won, when the referee wasn't looking, and knocking him and kicking him, and Bobo Brazil came and made the save. And that was the start of Calypso Jim's heroic and being more of a star than he was before. So, I helped make a star, early in his career, And he's been doing it ever since. He's now in his 70s, still doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I saw that clip, and and even with that disguise, I was thinking, man, that is one ugly woman. So
Well,
good disguise that, man.
My ex-wife, Michelle Bruiser's daughter, Michelle Romer at the time, ended up doing the makeup for Calypso Jim, and I bought a wig and, and here, this is what we got to do, blah, blah, blah. And then, I orchestrated that whole match.
Oh my goodness. That's awesome. Yeah, I saw that entire clip, and that was something else. So,
well, thank you. Didn't feel, I took an ass whipping. I could have gone another 20 minutes doing the same thing. I didn't feel a thing. What a professional he was, and when you're new in the business, they beat the shit out of you. You know what I mean? So all of a sudden, they're not touching me, and the crowd's going nuts, and finally I'm not getting beat up and having to pay my dues.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you're also going record here too, because you're around the Indianapolis area, close to Chicago. But you said that one of your favorites, or the favorite, or what you consider the greatest manager of all time, is Bobby the Brain Heenan, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And Bobby was not crazy about David McLean or I early on. We came in right when he was getting ready to leave. They had a match. He and I think he and Dick the Bruiser versus the Sheik and Eddie Creechman, I don't remember the whole thing, but Heenan was out, and that was when David McLean and I came in, right at the last of the as ringside photographers. We got to photograph that one thing. But Heenan and I really bonded when he was a special guest ring announcer for David McLean's Women of Wrestling around 2000. And he and I took a taxi cab back to our hotel and stayed in the bar lounge and drank and told stories, and he was just as nice as can be. And then when Pepper Gomez died, I called him up, and I told him Pepper Gomez died, and he didn't really say a lot, but his voice sounded funny. And when I said, "How you doing?" he said, "I could be doing better." And then it came out that he had throat cancer, and within time it was a complete transformation of the way he looked. It was very sad, but I was glad to be able to bond and have a good time with Bobby Heenan. And somewhere along the line on YouTube, on my Facebook page, are pictures of me hanging with Bobby Heenan.
Yeah. To get an experience like that is definitely awesome, and I would still consider Bobby the greatest manager of all time.
Absolutely.
I mean, like I said, even your managers today, even with Paul Heyman, or like I said, they do very well. Paul's done a lot of work, and man, he's probably going to be within the top 3, maybe not, number 2, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, he's top 2. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's Bobby, Paul Bear. That's the top 3, if you ask me.
Yeah, and those 2 of those, Percy Pringle and Bobby Heenan, are 2 of my idols, and why I decided to stick with managing a lot.
Well, Paul Heyman and Jim Cornette started out like me as photographers, and we were all working for the Wrestling News, and Paul was doing New Jersey pictures, I think, and Jimmy was doing Nashville, and Jarrett, it was Eddie Marlin and Jerry Jarrett back then, and I was doing the Dick the Bruiser and Wilbur Snyder WWA, and so we all worked for the same magazine. And then I started watching and get all this TV time and really doing a great job as a manager. And then I came involved and became a manager, but I was also photographing the matches. And I kept that very secret that Saul Creechman was really Scott Romer. And somehow or another, I was able to manage, wrestle, and take pictures at the same time period, and get away with playing the role of all three of us. And no one really put two and two together. You know what I mean? And being able to work, like I said before, working with the WWE, WWF at the time, and working Herb Simmons in Southern Illinois and St. Louis Wrestling, and very, very fortunate.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we're going to get to the point here, because actually I wanted to bring up another photo here that's actually you got credit to here, and also one of the shows that at least I like to review here. This is actually your shot here.
That is correct. That was that was taken in St. Louis, and that might have been Herb Simmons's when he brought in Bruiser Brody. He and Herb brought in Bruiser Brody, and I was able to get a picture of him swinging the wild chain, and somehow or another, Vice got a hold of it. I'm credited with that picture, and I got paid by Vice, and that was used as the main advertisement for season 1 for the Beyond the Ring series, my Dark Side of the Ring. I'm sorry,
Dark Side of the Ring.
The Dark Side of the Ring. That was used as their marquee picture for the entire season. Photos by Scott Romer.
Yeah, so that's awesome. And like I said, we've been following here, and we haven't talked about the recent season 5. That's gonna be down the road. Maybe by the end of the month we'll do something, but that's neither here or say now. But no, I wanted to. When I saw you got credit for that, I'm like, man, that is an awesome photo. And seeing
Thank you.
Heard about you doing it, I'm like, oh man, that is awesome, Scott, doing that photo. But it's also, getting your recognition, all that. Like you said, it's really sad, to relive some of the tragedies of wrestling. But sometimes it's sometimes it's something you kind of wonder about what happened.
True. And, being a photojournalist, I was on everybody's good side. I was partly responsible for getting the wrestlers booked in Japan, and word got around, so everybody liked me. And then you bond. I would go out with Bruiser Brody after the shows, go to the landings in St. Louis. There's a picture of me in my book of me drinking a great big beer with Bruiser Brody.
I saw that.
And so they become your friend. And I was, in my 20s, and then to hear that they've been stabbed and murdered, it's hard to grasp. I would also work world-class championship wrestling for Japan's Gong Wrestling magazine. So I got in good with all the Von Erichs. And, of course, they were very popular in St. Louis as well.
Right. Yeah.
And I got to know them, and then to see them all passing away. And in my book is a picture that I did of David Von Erich's funeral. So I was at the funeral, and right after the funeral, when they were loading David into the hearse, I was able to get Fritz's attention. And, hey, I'm Scott Romer. I'm very sorry. I gave him a hug. And the minister of the church was right next to him and saw me hugging Fritz and said, I'm going back to the house. Would you like to come with me? And I went back to the Von Erich house with the minister, the first one there. And the boys were all there, and Fritz, they were there early or whatever. They were there when I got in. And I was able to do an interview about the future of the Von Erichs and world-class championship wrestling. Of course, I didn't take a lot of time with the boys, but I was already in the house. Dolores was there and other relatives. and
Wow.
they treated me well and brought me coffee and coffee cake. And then Bill Apter walks in, and he was so shocked to see. Not only was I at the house and talking to Fritz, I was there before him.
Oh
So,
my.
um, um, these kind of things, how it happened, all of it. It's like life was made for me, and then to see all these beyond the dark side of the ring and these biographies on A&E, and I was a part of this. It's like reliving your life twice again. So I'm screwing my life up for the next half, watching it on TV unfold for what I did years
Wow.
ago.
Yeah. But that is crazy that you were actually able to sit with the family right after David's
Yes,
funeral.
yes.
That is
And
wow. That is insane.
the picture that I've got in the book, um, there that you if um, here's
Let me
some
see.
world class
Maximizing it here,
champions.
buddy.
Can you zoom in on that? Can you see that?
Yeah. Let's
Okay.
go. Yeah. Here we go, bud.
There we go. Okay. Some of the Von Erich stuff that I did in Dallas, Texas. And that
Yeah.
was 1985 for Gone. I'm not going to put someone else's work in my book. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Of course.
This is all mine.
Right.
That's not your
we
book.
go. Here we go. See if you can see that. That right there is the Von Erich funeral. And you
Yeah.
can
The
see
top picture. Yeah.
And,
Wow.
on the right side, next to my finger, is it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
But it's a picture with Fritz at the house and stuff.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. That to me that just floors me. So if Herb says I need my cut.
May I show you the? Let me show you when they. Let me go to a couple pages here. Well, I was the personal photographer for the Arab World Champion, and I was sent to Israel, and I was on the Palestinian side. And there's Johar Abulashin. I was the personal photographer with Yasser Arafat.
Yeah. Yeah.
This right here, next to my finger, is Arafat's brother. He was the head of the Palestinian police in the whole country, in the whole state. He was the power, and that's Johar. There I am being interviewed on, by the Palestinians on TV, and that picture right there is the Prime Minister of Israel.
Wow.
But I just came to that page and I thought I'd show it to you. But
Yeah. Yeah.
let me. Oh, well, I don't want to reveal the whole book, but
Of course. Yeah.
but the let's go to the something a little more shocking that I think that I describe what happened and how I got involved. But it's the infamous Oneida stabbing angle.
Right. Yeah.
Jose
So
Gonzalez.
exactly.
And
So
that's Jose right there in the corner there. This is 2
Yeah.
years after he did away with Bruiser Brody, and me being involved in what is considered the worst angle in the history of pro wrestling. There I am at the ticket counter with Oneida, and there he is with crutches, and right there is a paycheck from Gong Wrestling Magazine. There he is being carted out. But this is considered the worst angle in one of the worst in the history of pro wrestling. They got me involved in the crazy shit, like
yeah.
that
So
language.
yeah. So let's kind of talk about that briefly. Yeah. So this all kind of came about after. Actually, this happened after the Bruiser Brody incident with Jose Gonzalez, and so, and obviously this is with Oneida that's in the pictures here, who was also wrestler and also promoter for FMW back at the time. So, kind of break down how Jose's name got involved with all of this, and almost kind of led him to hot water.
My agent was Jimmy Suzuki, and he called me and said, I need you in Puerto Rico. You're working an angle. They didn't tell me anything about it. That's fine. Send me the ticket. Promises, promises. He sent me a ticket. I flew out there and met up with Onita and Jimmy Suzuki, and they had a limousine, and they took me to a studio. And being the low man on the totem pole, I grabbed Onita's briefcase to carry it for him. You know what I mean? I'm the new kid.
Right.
I grabbed it and walked into the building, and waiting by the door was Jose Gonzalez. I was the first one in the building. Oh my God. And yes, hi. And he's, looking out, seeing Onita from a little distance, waiting for him to come in. And, still they're not telling me anything what's going on. And we first did a contract signing. And of course, when you do the contract signing, there are going to be other wrestlers, the Puerto Ricans, which are baby faces. At the contract signing, they start beating up Onita. And that's cool. Onita gigs, everything's cool. Then the angle, what I thought was over, and everybody in the office, the World Council, what is it called?
Worldwide Council, like WWE.
Yeah, Worldwide Council. Everybody leaves because it's all over. We stuck around with Victor Quiones, who was part owner. During this time, I'm hearing Onita making kind of a moaning sound, and he's cutting into his stomach with a razor blade.
Yeah.
And trying to get, and squeezing it, and not getting hardly any blood. But because he gigged his forehead and did it good, there was blood all over the floor. So I knew what he was doing, and I just, here, I see what you're doing. Why do you want to cut yourself? Just take the blood and wipe it on your stomach, So he did. That's what he did. He scooped it up from the floor and wiped it on his shirt, with a white shirt, and stomach, wow. And had me take pictures as though he had been stabbed. Then the alarm is pulled. Oh, I got fake pictures of Jose and his henchmen beating up the photographers. They had Japanese photographers. So I got pictures of that. Then someone pulls the fire alarm. Everybody leaves. Or everybody left, and then someone pulls the fire alarm, which drew the attention of the police, an ambulance, and the fire trucks. I'm still photographing. They cart Onita out on a stretcher, take him to the hospital. I'm following him, and he convinces the doctor to stitch him up one time. I'm asked to give my film back to Jimmy Suzuki, who flew out to Miami from Puerto Rico to ship it Federal Express. That's how important the film was. That because it's sort of a corrupt, screwed up mailing system in Puerto Rico, and it was important. The very next evening, I'm with Onita, and a fax comes to the hotel room. The stabbing angle is on the front page of the evening news in Japan, with Onita laying there like he had been stabbed and being carted out. And my picture with Onita, photos by Scott Romer. And in the article, it talks about how, the murderer of Bruiser Brody tried to kill Onita, outraging the whole country. So that went on, and I was in Puerto Rico at the time. I took I took a rental car with Mr. Pogo to a wrestling show. Onita wasn't with us at the time. To a wrestling show, and it was a World Council, whatever you call it, Worldwide Council show. Carlos Colon show, and I was with the Japanese who were the heels. So I was in the heel dressing room with the Japanese when one of his agents, his name is Eddie Grease, he did the video. He was American and lived out there. He came over to my dressing room and said, Scott Romer, Jose Gonzalez wants to see you el pronto. And he meets me in his dressing room with a towel over his hand, takes me into the shower area, and says, "Hey, amigo, how'd you like the angle? Or I hear you were married to Dick the Bruiser's daughter." He knew all about me. And I told him I was. And he said, "Oh, amigo, I worked for Dick the Bruiser back in 1969. Anyhow, how did you like the angle?" Oh, Jose, that was the best angle I've ever photographed. I'm looking at his forehead, his bloodshot eyes, and I said, what a great angle. And and Onita even I got pictures of him in the hospital. And he looks at me like, what do you mean? And I got the hell out of the dressing room. I didn't explain anymore. And,
wait.
but the fact that he took me to the shower area, just like he did Bruiser Brody. Now I hear that was one of the ribs that he would do to other wrestlers, after the murder and when things calmed down a little bit in Puerto Rico, he'd do this exact same thing. But, it is something that you have nightmares over. And I still have nightmares over that. You know what I mean?
Oh, my gosh.
I didn't think a whole lot of the angle after that. You know what I mean? Another story that is unbelievable that I really can't tell people about because they couldn't believe it. But years later, when I was shooting a WrestleMania, I saw Stu Hart and reintroduced myself and told him I was, shot his territory a few times, and I was the photographer for the Onita thing. Oh yeah, I heard all about that. They were luring Jose Gonzalez to Japan, where the Yakuza was going to kill him. So
yeah.
I went with that story, and it made a lot of sense. Fortunately, the match never took place, but I was the only American photographing this whole angle, so I was disposable. If something should have happened, I'd be the one, sort of responsible for an angle that I didn't even know was happening. You know what I mean? But I did, it'd be an investigation for sure, and I'd be the photographer.
Wow. I mean, just the thought, just to even bring it back to the shower with the towel over the hand. I mean, if he thinks that's a rib, I'm sorry, that's sick. That is sick, because we all know, I mean, for those who know the real story, know what went down and how that happened, how Brody got cut to begin with. And it's, there's too much eyewitness proof of people telling the story of how it happened, and that's exactly how it was explained. So I understand. I mean, I'm just clenching just even the thought of thinking about that, because that's horrible.
Well,
that's not good.
When I photographed the matches, and Jose Gonzalez wrestled Kim Duck at the time. I was with the Kim Duck entourage, so I'm photographing the matches. And it was amazing how popular and over he was with the fans. How they greeted him in the ring, wanted his autograph. And then after he got his win, how the fans mobbed him and patted him on the back and stuff like that. And I had a picture of that. And I was, it's one of the many pictures that I showed John Cosper. And he didn't want to use that in the book. He thought it was too, it would be too out of taste.
Right.
But the book that you've seen now is sort of it's a redone book with a few new stories in it and a different cover, and I have that picture blown up a little bigger, of the Onita stabbing angle, because I wanted people to see. I wanted it to take effect, what I had to go through. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So at some point during how you're describing that, you caught the eye of World Wrestling Federation, as you say, you were at WrestleMania and stuff like that, and you were able to photograph there ringside. How much did you travel with the WWF at that time, and elaborate why your photos were not published in their magazine?
Well, no, I was not a WWF photographer. I was a photographer for the WWF for Gong Wrestling Magazine, which you will see a lot of my WWF stuff in my book with my name credited in English. Speaking of which, here's one of the pictures of Jose Gonzalez. And
okay.
You see Onita and his bloody head, and that's one of the new pictures in the new book.
Oh, okay.
There's a boxing picture that was taken in Denmark. That's Brian Nielsen punching a guy in the balls and getting away with it. That's the kind of interesting stuff that I was able to photograph. Why my book is interesting, and the stories are too unbelievable to just have me describe what happened. So people that were with me are describing, like Jimmy Suzuki joined in. He's the one that hired me to do the photo shoot of the worst angle in the history of pro wrestling. He's talking about how he had to get the pictures in before a certain time to make the evening news in Japan, and that he wanted to use me because, he and I got along well, and he always liked me.
Wow.
So all these years of taking photos and getting these photos published, there's been some that haven't been published. Have you had one that stuck out to you, being the artist that you are with the photography? Is there that one photo that you wish could have gotten published?
Well, I didn't really reach out to that many people. I cut my own throat by not being aggressive enough. I don't think that picture of Muhammad Ali's been published, other than in my book. If there were pictures of presidents, I'll tell you one thing. I was working with the National Italian American Foundation, and Anne Hathaway was one of the special guests being honored with her then boyfriend, Raffaello I can't pronounce his last name. But right after the event, he was indicted for extorting the Vatican. And this was like a day or two afterwards, and they had his picture everywhere. But I had the current pictures of him. The hell if I was going to publish those anywhere, you know what I mean? I could have sold those to the big magazines, the Star, the gossip magazines, which I have done before. But I wasn't, this is high influence Italian shit. You know what I mean? I didn't want to get involved.
Right. Wow. So as we're coming up here, of course, like I said, we're circling around here back to the Fan Fest, of course, once again. Give me one moment here because I want to put this back up here for you. So once again, this is the book here when it was, my life on both sides of the camera, and of course with Scott Romer and John Casper as your authors. And of course, like I said, Scott will be at the SICW FanFest 2. Of course, you may be there Friday night. I don't know if you're going to be, there with Bill after or not.
I can't be there on Friday. I'm big in boxing. Unfortunately, the Friday event, I can't be there. We have the Indiana Boxing Hall of Fame dinner on Friday, and I'm, just to show you how important Herb's show is to me, I'm not being there for the induction ceremonies. that I photographed every year for the Indiana Boxing Hall of Fame, which Roy Jones is being one of the honorees. But I will be at Herb's show and happily going there. So it shows you my priorities are with Herb, my family, and Southern Championship Wrestling. I will be there on Saturday with Rich Abbott, who is a wrestling promoter for Wrestling Theological, Wrestling Theological, whatever. He will be my guest with me, and I'm looking forward to meeting the fans and seeing the young lady that is following in my footsteps and her father.
Nice. So so coming back here with Saturday, and like I said, since Saturday, May 18th is the main, basically the main convention of the Fan Fest, where 60 legend stars, people who worked their way in this industry, they're making a big name, have made a big name for themselves, are currently making a big name for themselves, are going to be there. Of course, there's a lot of events that are going on. Of course, like I said, we're going to be there with the big with the table, and we'll be broadcasting, doing a live broadcast during that day of everything going on. And of course, you can watch it here on all of our affiliate channels that we go out to. Once again, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and of course on X. We'll be broadcasting that day. But as far as you coming in, of course, you're going to see a lot of other faces in there. Is there what do you remember, if you can remember what happened what has stuck with you last year, if you can recall, and then what are you looking for this year for the Fan Fest?
Well, to me, it's all about reconnecting with the former stars that I used to work with 30 years ago, 40 years ago, even 50 years ago. You never know. So there's a part of me that is still a big wrestling fan, and I can't wait to be a part of it. You know what I mean? And I'm so honored that Herb likes me enough to include me as one of the special guests. And so reconnecting with St. Louis wrestling is my family, and seeing Darla Staggs and Herb and his wife and just everybody, it's such a natural feeling just to walk in. Again, I don't mean to dwell over the fact, but I had a father that didn't pay attention, and and so I have a St. Louis wrestling family that does pay attention, and that's what I consider my family.
Yeah. And then, like you said, that's going to carry throughout the main day. And then, of course, that evening, you'll have the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame ceremony, which is going to be inducting Leilani Kai, Junie Martin, Wendy Richter, Harold Koplar, George Abel, and, of course, the one and only Cowboy Bob Orton Jr.
Well, I'll be there photographing it, and honored to record my work, and Herb, of course, will get a copy of all the pictures. And the week before that, it's a 2-day event. I will be in Evansville, Indiana at the National Guard Armory, where they are honoring Jerry the King Lawler, and he is going to be inducted into the Indiana Sports Hall of Fame, and I've arranged that. Rip Rogers and I were inducted into the Indiana Sports Hall of Fame last year, so nice. I was able to pull some strings, and Jerry Lawler will be inducted, and I will be part of, there's going to be another Hall of Fame. I will be a part of both of them as well, and also one of the special guests that they're having. A lot of the Memphis guys, and his show keeps on growing and growing too, but Herb takes precedent over everything.
Yep. Yeah, well, with Jerry and of course a lot of the other guys, down with the whole championship wrestling down in the Memphis territory is coming up to Evansville all the time in the old Coliseum, doing shows every Wednesday night. Seems like
Right,
yeah,
right. And that was Jerry Jarrett and Eddie Marlin,
right,
and that started running there. Now they were paying Wilbur Snyder and Dick the Bruiser a 10% fee to run there. And after a while, they said, the hell with you guys, I'm not paying anything. And they continued to have good shows. Now, the person in charge of Evansville was Teenie Jarrett, Christine Jarrett, who is Jerry Jarrett's mother. And Jarrett's Territory was one of my jobs to photograph for both Japan and Bill Apter's magazine. In fact, I was photographing the Andy Kaufman feud.
wow,
They brought in Nick Bockwinkel to wrestle Jerry Lawler, and I took a picture of Nick Bockwinkel putting a sleeper on Jerry the King Lawler that made the front page of Bill Apter's magazine.
this I gotta see.
Right there. That's one of my covers, and I'm credited on the inside. But this was done in a Memphis territory with an AWA guy, Nick Bockwinkel, putting the sleeper on Jerry the King Lawler. And technically, that's not proper to put a picture on the cover of another star being on the bottom in his own territory. And Teenie Jarrett grabbed me by the cheek and had that magazine rolled up and said, "Did you do this picture?" "Yes, I did." "Yes, ma'am." "Yes, ma'am." "Yes, I did." And she said, "You mustn't do that anymore. This is our territory. Jerry should be put, you got to have Jerry being put over on Bockwinkel. If it was AWA, that would be okay, but that was our territory." And I was terrified, and I saw Jerry and I told him what had happened, and he sort of laughed it off and said, "Don't worry about it. That's okay. I approved the picture for Bill Apter to use." So that gave me a lot of relief. But they're going to have one of those multimedia things, and they interviewed me for it, and I tell that story, which will be part of the Jerry the King Lawler ceremony, if it's used at all. But I'm glad to have been able to share that story and all the other stories on your great podcast. And again, if anybody goes to my website and writes Falls Count Everywhere, I will pay for shipping and handling and autograph the book personally, and where if you buy it on Amazon, it won't be autographed.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's awesome, guys. So once again, if you mention Falls Count Everywhere, free shipping. If you contact Scott Romer directly, like I said,
use Falls Count Everywhere, and that's the key to the free shipping. And give me your telephone number, I'll call you up, or whatever the hell, give me a check.
There you go.
Let's make it simple.
Checks in the mail. So
yeah, I've heard that before.
You're right.
Yeah, I've had many hot dogs in my day.
Right. Oh, shoot. I'll tell you what, Scott, man, I mean, I know we went over a little bit here, so I hope you didn't mind, but man, I'll tell you what, some great stories. And like I said, when it was My Life on Both Sides of the Camera, that is Scott's book, and that will be available at SICW Fan Fest 2. If you do not get it through him online, he'll ship it to you, whatever. If you're in the St. Louis area and you show up on May 18th, give Scott a visit. Once again, you said it'll be $25 at the table on the day, right?
Yes, autographed.
Okay. Yep. Buy it directly, get it autographed from Scott, and then we get a picture of him with it.
Yeah.
So
that's another thing. I do take a picture of everybody that buys a book, and I put it on my Facebook page. So hopefully I'll have a lot of pictures of fans.
I need to see about getting that book, and that I'm looking for, even with the person under your wing or even you directly, we need an updated good group photo of us three co-hosts.
Yes.
So, if you can oblige somehow to make that work,
I'll work
that would be
that.
totally
I'll make
awesome.
it happen. I'll make it happen. I
All
usually I got my nice 35 or my nice digital camera, old school, and I always give it to a fan and say, "Here, just push this button." And then if I have to, I crop it, but they always come out great. And I always put them on my Facebook page.
Awesome, man.
That's actually a really cool idea.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it is too. But man, I'll tell you what, I really appreciate your time joining us here this evening. I hope you enjoyed the conversation with us. And like I said, we'll be seeing you on the 18th at the SICW Fan Fest too, and we'll get a chance to maybe chat a little bit more then.
Well, thank you so much for letting me be your guest.
Yeah,
it was our pleasure.
It was our pleasure, man. So take care. Like I said,
everybody.
we'll talk to you before your surgery too. So
Yeah, thank you.
So stay healthy, and we'll see you then. Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. See you, Scott. All right, guys. That was Scott Roller. I know we kind of had a slaughter for an hour, but we went over a little bit. That's okay. Some good talk.
Fun.
Maybe give us a chance to stretch. What we're gonna do right now is we got our upcoming shows reeled that we're getting ready to play here for you. So give us about it's gonna be under 3 minutes, I know, but we're gonna get a chance to stretch a bit, check out the shows, and we're gonna come back with some more stuff here for you on this week's episode of the Falls Count Everywhere podcast. So we will be right back.
Coming to a city near you, Saturday, May 25th, IWA Productions returns to the IWA Event Center located at 521 Perkins Street in Mount Vernon, Illinois, as they present Schools Out. Tag Team Champions The Freak Show, Women's Champion TT the Island Girl, and Logan Ridge are scheduled to be in action. Doors open at 6 p.m. with a bell time of 7 p.m. Door ticket prices are $12 for front row and $7 for general admission. Save $2 by purchasing them in advance at the Ringside Buffet. Come join the fun! Saturday, May 18th, New Breed Wrestling returns to the Youth Center at Macon County Park, located at 1302 South Missouri Street in Macon, Missouri. Your main event is for the NBW Heavyweight Championship as Nothing Neater Derek Teeter defends the title against the Silverback, Big Joe Helms, in an I Quit strap match. Doors open at 5 p.m. with a bell time of 6 p.m. Ticket price is $25 for VIP. General admission is $15. For more information on the event and to purchase tickets in advance, call 660-231-0054 or visit newbreedwrestling.ticketleap.com. Saturday, May 18th, Illinois Elite Wrestling returns to the Elks Lodge in Granite City, Illinois, as they present Phase 2, Preemptive Strike. Two big matches signed already as Douglas O'Shea and Larry Wolf choose an IEW superstar to represent them for the battle of the IEW Commissionership. And PT Beckham defends the Heavyweight Championship against Jack Parker Jr. Doors open at 5 p.m. with a bell time of 6 p.m. Door ticket prices are $15 for adults, $5 for kids. Kids 5 and under get in free. To save money on adult tickets, purchase tickets in advance by visiting IllinoisEliteWrestling.ticketleap.com. Saturday, May 18th, American Championship Wrestling comes to St. James Recreation Center in St. James, Missouri, located at 1204 Nelson Hard Road, as they present a fundraiser to benefit the AmeriCorps Senior Companion Program. Apex Prime, The Bomb Brian James, Justin Main Event, New Heavyweight Champion Marvelous Mark Morgan, and many of your ACW favorites are scheduled to be in action. Doors open at 5 p.m. with a bell time of 6 p.m. Front row seats are $10. All other tickets are $6. Get your tickets at the door or get them in advance by going to acwtheshow.com. SICW presents this year's biggest wrestling extravaganza in the St. Louis area as they present Fan Fest 2. Friday, May 17th features Bill Apter's one-man show. And Saturday, May 18th is where the big festivities go down with an all-day expo featuring 60 legends and stars of professional wrestling and live wrestling auction throughout the day. Saturday evening kicks off with the 2024 St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame ceremony. Then a huge wrestling show featuring the Bruiser Brody, Larry Mattisik, and Tony Costa Battle Royal, where the winner will be presented the Bruiser Brody Memorial Cup by Barbara Goodish. For information on purchasing event tickets, hotel reservations, and much more, visit SICW.org. Remember, fans, without you in the seats, there is no wrestling. Make sure you make plans to attend these shows, and we'll see you at ringside.
See you at ringside.
All right. So a lot of activity apparently on May 18th, apparently. for everybody.
Tons of stuff going on.
Seems to be a magic day, but hey, it is what it is. But we're going to be at, ACW, my home promotion is having a show. IEW
My
is
home
having a
promotion's
show.
having their show.
Yep. But guess what? You're a little slow in the ball, and people want you to be at an event, and it's like several months in advance.
I love it. I love it. I support my fam. I can't wait to be back there in IEW eventually calling matches. So I just chasing other birds with you, man. Like that's all it is.
Yeah, that's all it is. So ain't nothing wrong with that. So
I can't wait to go. I can't wait to go to the SICW Fan Fest, man. Like straight up, the second one. We're gonna be there first year, second year, number one last year, number one this year. Dude, we're gonna kill it. Like there's a reason.
Yeah, I know. There is just some names lining up, and like I said, we are less than 2 weeks away from it all going down. GQ had to skip out. There was actually something going on here tonight, and that's another reason why we had to go early, because I knew that he had something going on. So it's like kind of worked out this week, but we're going to be back to normal time next week, 9 p.m. Central. We will have Herb Simmons on as our guest next week.
Oh, I can't wait.
Because we're going to talk everything Herb Simmons regarding with this.
I want to ask him a question.
Oh, yeah.
I had a mark out moment last year with Gerald Briscoe.
Oh yeah.
If Herb can offer me a Medusa interview on Falls Count Everywhere, let me mark out one more time, please.
Oh my goodness, yeah, exactly. So that'll be cool. You know, just any one of them. I mean, that's just awesome.
I'm going right for Medusa, dude. Like I'm telling you right now, I'm a big okay. We like to make fun of people, right? And I love the redneck community because I'm one of them, and I like to make fun of them. But Medusa is the queen of rednecks when she went and won a world champion Monster Jam, bro. Like,
yeah,
I'm a Monster Jam nut. So, like, not only is this on wrestling level and what she did in the wrestling industry, but for me, she went a notch farther into a world that I absolutely love just as much. So,
yep. Yeah, we like to make, kind of casual joke and fun, just all ribbon aside. That's what we love to do. I mean, that's because that's me being 28 years completed in this business. Has so many ribs done on me. I've actually returned the favor, it's all good. And so with that being said, kind of brings us to our next bit of business, right? So let's get right to it.
Yes.
There you go. It is time for this week's wrestling's gold memes, everybody. And boy, do we got a good fresh batch here for you tonight. So
I can't wait.
Get ready. So we're going to start off with this is actually MJF's parents. This is
this is old, but it's such a good one.
Yep. This is actually MJF's mom, Nina Freeman, says probably not going to make it to the cover of Parents Magazine, but see you at the Author Ash tonight. And this is like an old post of Dynamite. So
did
pay
you
attention to the top of your screen here?
Yes! If that's not parents supporting their kids, I don't know what is. Respect. That is 100% understanding the business.
First MJF, I had to censor a little bit of that. I didn't want to put it in this, but you kind of have an idea of what that says. So,
John Cena, I just posted on We Talk Wrestling about John Cena having his first experience with MJF. And so really? Get over there and check it out because, yeah, he talks very highly of him. And, like, it goes into detail a little bit.
Was it during the Iron Claw? Because
Yes, yeah. It was during the Iron Claw when they met. Right. So, like, MJF's one of my favorites right now of young stars. Like, he to me, holds on to the old school storytelling, and I love it. And he has this old school heel working, and, like, I'm here for it. So, like, he's one that I absolutely love and can't wait to see blossom farther.
Yep, absolutely. And let's see, I'm trying to think of which one is this. So a few weeks ago, I think so a few weeks ago on Dynamite, there was a segment with Angelo Parker and Ruby Soho, being a surprise announcement from Ruby Soho that she was pregnant. And actually, Angela Parker they've been going together. Well, we got this primed up here. But Angela Parker said, I'm going to be a dad. Well, someone else got news of that. Everybody's favorite father in AEW was not pleased.
I'm so happy for Ruby and Parker. I'm a huge fan of both Parker and his tag team partner. I can't remember his name for some what. God dang it! I can't remember his name now.
I can't remember.
Magic something, right? Either. But Christian is every dad's worst enemy.
So
the funny part is I never realized he looked like a dad. Like he really does look like a pissed off dad all the time. Like now I understand why Vince didn't like him. I get it now.
His dad like a leather bob jacket and a turtleneck sweater underneath.
He looks he's such a dad. He's like the epitome of what dads look like.
Oh my gosh. All right, so guess what? I have another nobody meme here for you. So guess what? Nobody, and then white people at music festivals.
Guilty. 100% guilty.
Oh my goodness. I can believe the thing that kills me about. I mean, I kind of knew Otis would do this, but the way that Chad Gable is with this freaking wig, what the hell?
Chad
is up with this wig?
Okay, so let's be honest. Still, to this day, they went with the wrong person from Alpha Academy to be Kurt Angle's illegitimate child. It should have been Chad Gable from the beginning, and that whole angle would have worked because he looks like a micro angle.
He does.
He does everything that Kurt did. Like, I'm not mad with. Kurt's one of my favorite wrestlers from the Attitude Era. Like, Kurt Angle was, he fit in perfectly into that whole program and was awesome. So, like, another version of him, I'm totally cool with. But Chad Gable cracks me up. And I'm totally down with Kurt Angle saying, Kurt Angle went on X and said that he would openly be Chad Gable's heel manager, and I am so for that.
If he brought back the 3 eyes.
I'm glad you're thinking the same thing I was thinking. I'm like, bring that back. Oh my god, dude.
Bring back the 3 eyes.
And think about him. He could even make Otis something, in all honesty. Like, it could rub off and, like, there's Team Angle number 2 or something. Like, we could do something cool with it. I'm talking them separate. Like, have them be.
Yes, of course. Yeah, absolutely. And then let's see. With our next one here. Oh yeah. You like this? Drew McIntyre's Drew McIntyre. See a Punk sitting right there.
I wonder how, because Punk speaks so highly of Brett. Like, Brett and Punk are kind of homies, actually. Like, I wonder if Brett actually's okay with this photo now. This is gold. I have not seen this one. This one's great. Their feud, dude. Drew McIntyre and CM Punk's feud is going to go down as one of the best. Like, I don't know. There's something about it, like how they're building it, where Punk's literally just injured and they haven't even really touched. And I want to see these two kick each other's asses. I want to see these two go. It's great. I love it. Hands off, dude. Hats off.
Nice. And then, with AEW and WWE, they're thriving for competitions. Kind of like when WWE had a deal with WCW competing for shows. WCW came out with Thunder on top of Nitro. Then WWE came back with SmackDown. Okay. Now we're kind of reliving some of that here with our last meme, and I think Z knows where I'm going with this. Remember when we talked about WWE Speed? in the whole class of WWE Speed. Well, somebody caught wind of this and decided to come up with a competitive show. That's right, everybody. Get ready for AEW Crack.
See, this is funny to me, but it should have been AEW Cranked, hosted by Jason Statham, and they should have done a new movie of Cranked. It could have been funnier, but this is great. Speed's an awesome program. I like it so far. I'm pretty okay with it so far.
Never mind the flame of the spoon here. The
It's so wrong. So great.
That is hilarious. So
I see what you did there. You're so dumb. That was great.
Oh my gosh. Where is mine? There you go. I gotta give it to me.
Good round of memes tonight, Ruby. Good night. Good round.
That is it for this week's memes, everybody. So and we're probably, since we're gonna be talking a lot next week, we may not have it for you next week, and we'll see about how we come back after the Fan Fest and all that. Because
we just gotta bust out some old memes, like get some like making fun of
we need to somehow
80s.
I need to collect all these memes and like get them on like a slideshow and like on like the monitor that I'll bring, just let people see them. Just, as they're walking by the table, like what the hell?
I would like to see another like awesome signs one. I like signs. I wish signs came back.
I have been finding some more signs ones, so we may have to do another one signs here. Yeah. Yeah, I like the
golden signs.
Yeah, I love the jingle for it.
Here's your sign, here's your sign, here's your stupid sign.
There you
Love
go.
it.
Ah, shoot. So let's get into our headlines here. We've had to wait for it. We talked about this a little bit right after WrestleMania because it left me in limbo. I'm like, holy cow, what the heck's going on? Because usually by WrestleMania, on the day of WrestleMania, they announced for next year, and they kept putting it off and putting it off. So yesterday, during the pre-show of the Kentucky Derby on NBC, guess what? WWE announces WrestleMania 41 location and dates. And where are we
Vegas.
It's WrestleMania Vegas, baby. And at Allegiant Stadium, it's a newly built stadium where the newly located Las Vegas Raiders are playing. But you know what? What's different about this one, though? There is something different about this one. A historical fact. If you followed WrestleMania all this time,
that logo's sick.
This is the latest start. This is the latest date that in the year of a WrestleMania. It's never been
19th and 20th?
April 19th and 20th, 2025. So they're doing it the third weekend in April for WrestleMania.
Wonder if they're going to get rid of the numbers now and just start doing it by like the names of the location. Like we're going to get like actual themed pay-per-views.
If you look here,
whoa, dude, the 41's up there at the top.
Yeah,
that's 41. Sick.
So I want
Respect.
To tell you, so they have not gotten rid of it. No, they need to keep it going.
I actually like the how hiding the number, but then also theming the show.
Right. I like the logo.
The logo. That's probably one of the nicest WrestleMania logos in a while.
Yeah, so I mean, so a lot of speculation because like a last rush, and there was actually talk about it before they made the announcement. There were several months back, but they mentioned Minneapolis as one of the finalists. Of course, Minneapolis, Minnesota, the original home of Brock Lesnar. So, but trust me, that stadium Minneapolis could pack the stadium, but I think they might think it might still be too cold up there, even in like April. I mean, think about it. They had to challenge Philadelphia this past year with 50-degree weather. I mean, holy cow! I mean, those guys were just unreal with the performance they had to put on. And but I think this is a really good move because, like I said, NXT Battlegrounds going to the UFC Apex in next month in June. So, and like I said, UFC is basically home to Las Vegas, UFC, WWE, TKO. It all makes sense. So, but no, I like this call. They're going to pack this place again. Obviously, they're still going to try to break records. And I'm telling you, man, WWE is just on
Wait a minute.
tear.
With TKO, isn't their headquarters in Vegas?
I believe so.
Okay.
I believe so.
Could we see WWE headquarters move from New York to Vegas in the future?
I would still kind of keep them separate. I think they still like being in Eastern. I think.
Okay. Yeah, that's a possibility now.
I mean, they have really done a lot of work at their headquarters in Connecticut. Like they've done, they would really have to do. I mean, if they move, like I said, if they're going to move, you need to get into a bigger building and you need to put big up. I would only approve the move for one thing.
The Hall of Fame.
One thing. If they actually put a physical Hall of Fame right next to or in the area of the headquarters.
It should be in the same headquarters, yeah. Like headquarters should be on top of the Hall of Fame.
Right. But like I said, you don't want I don't know if you want anybody in the same building because that could be kind of a safety issue. We'll just classify that as a safety issue with people who actually work there. And you don't want people at your work. Trust me. You do not want world tourists coming to your work. So
potentially.
I don't think so. I don't think so. But I'm just saying if they do relocate, put in a physical building for a WWE Hall of Fame. Okay? Because everybody's asking, well, they're going to go in the Hall of Fame, they're going to get a ring. Okay, well then, the National Football Hall of Fame has a physical building. Baseball Hall of Fame, Cooperstown, New York has a physical Hall of Fame. Where's the WWE?
Oh, it's time. It's been past time. It's been past time.
Right. And UFC, they're making their announcements of their Hall of Fame too, because I'm kind of wondering if UFC has a physical Hall of Fame. Like I said, there are some notable sports that have a physical Hall of Fame. Just, very few do not have a building. Just like, with the Midwest Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame, we just have rings and in a Facebook page. Yay, go us. Because we can't afford a building. Just do a plaque, And like I said, St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame is a traveling display, which is,
that's a cool idea.
Like I said, that is controlled and owned by Nick Ridenour, who's been in the business for a good while, proprietor of the Pro Shirt Shop, and of course also SACW referee. So, of course, the St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, of course, will be on display because 6 new inductees going in that night. But getting back to though, I really like this announcement. It's really going to attract a lot of good business. And like I said, it's awesome, and with what they're trying to do here. So that being said, we're going to go right to this. If I can get this, there we go. So yesterday, man, I watched this live. I know you've had to watch it, Z, but WWE Backlash France, holy cow.
What a great show.
Let me tell you, this crowd puts any crowd in the U.S. for a sporting event or even for any wrestling event to shame. I'm telling you that right now. And I'm not talking that, but because from the moment even before they went on the air till they went off the air, I could still hear them in the press conference.
Oh yeah, that place was blowing up.
They were still blowing up. They would not slow down. And let me tell you, the matches that they had, we're going to go over those here, but let me just tell you, just Dynamite. I mean, let's just go right into it because we can just keep talking about it.
First thing, before you keep going, did you see the news articles saying that the watches were going off? I thought they were just making jokes about it on commentaries because Corey and Michael Cole were talking about how the watches kept going off. So if you had an Apple Watch, you know how Apple Watches will signal it's too loud in the thing. The watches kept going off and warning people that it was too loud in the building for eardrums.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
that's crazy, bro.
Yeah, it was totally nuts. Absolutely. But no, it like they outdid themselves here. So, of course, first match, Randy let's just say Kevin Owens and Randy Orton coming out first. I mean, Kevin Owens coming out to a big ovation and just standing there for a good while. I thought
Randy's
Kevin was
ovation,
winning.
bro.
I thought KO was kind of waiting for Randy. They did not cue Randy's music yet, and he's just kind of standing out there. I don't know if that was just a miscue, but
It might have been too loud.
Yeah, maybe they just couldn't tell. And they're like, "Do we do this now? Like, what?"
And Kevin was just soaking it in, and then Randy's music hits, and the crowd starts singing the Vipers' music, bro. Did you see him? He was like, Michael Cole even talked about it on the thing, like how The Rock goes like this. Like, he's like, that's what it feels like right now, because they were just pumped for Orton and stuff. Like, that was,
yeah,
and a stellar match by the four dudes too.
Oh my god. Yeah, let's just say they squared off. The bell didn't even ring yet, and they started going right at it. They brought out security. They brought out officials. They're trying to break it up.
Kevin Owens is stunning dudes.
Kevin Owens is stunning security. And then freaking Nick Aldis comes out, and he makes it a no disqualification street fight. So, means anything goes. And let me tell you, these two tore it up. And let's just say there was another surprise, and it's somebody that we've never seen.
It's a lie. Camacho's back, or Tonga Leo, or
so
whatever.
it's Tonga Loa.
Loa, yeah.
So
Camacho.
You got Solo here. You got Tama Tonga, and now you got Tama Loa.
Yeah,
and you got Paul Heyman kind of scared out of his wits, but
otherwise, God, this angle is so good,
man. So Tonga Loa comes out to save a pin. He comes from underneath the ring, pulls out the ref, and now we got Haku, another Haku son, joining the bloodline. So there's two Haku sons. There's one son of Rikishi. Now, so apparently these are the only three official ones because of Jay being kicked out. Okay. So now you start to wonder what's next for the bloodline, for one. And number two, are we starting to see more of an outline of what could happen in the Bloodline Civil War 2.0?
I want to know where Fatu is going to be, Jacob.
Yeah.
I want to know where Jacob's going to land, bro.
Yeah, where does he land? If there's a fourth member that does not involve Roman, does not involve The Rock, it does not involve Jimmy Uso. Okay? So you're almost at bet to see that's just going to carry out for a while. Jay's having his run. He's having fine. He's doing fine right now. But if Jacob Fatu shows up, eventually you're going to see the Usos get back together. We're going to see the return of Roman Reigns, and we will see the return of The Rock as a face. We're going to have a 4-on-4, and then we're going to have a battle at Survivor Series. That's my call right now.
And see, here's what I'm really, really hoping is Jacob joins the others, Jay and Jimmy, and Roman, and the final boss has his hit crew now. Let's get down. That speaks final boss all over it, bro. Wow. Jacob Fatu is going to be the hitman for Roman. Like that, they're going to be like, we're going to pull in a heavy hitter. Like we're going to pull in one of the.
Okay, all right. So you still say Rock doesn't go face. He stays heel.
Yes,
and he joins these three.
And Rock said that. Wasn't it Rock that said that Solo is the next tribal chief?
Yeah. Yeah.
He picked his successor.
Yeah. That's true.
Roman could have been like yes too to Solo being the next one, but like what if it's always been Jay as the next tribal chief that Roman was going to pick, right? Because I'm pretty sure that was what was stated at one time.
Right.
Dude. It's set. Table's set. Let's go. Dine me.
Exactly.
I want your 16-course meal, WWE, because I'm so in love. Everybody's like, somebody on We Talk Wrestling just the other day. I'm not gonna shout out names because I'm not like, but they're like, I'm over WWE's Bloodline storyline. I'm like, how can you be? How can you be tired of this? Like, you can't be tired of this.
And yeah, I read that person's comment, and I also read how they fast forwarded through everything except to see Jey Uso and Damian Priest match, and almost like, I mean, obviously this person has ADHD, so you if you can't peel back, if you were not psyched from the first part of this show, okay, I am getting excited for WWE again since the Attitude Era. Okay, truly getting excited. Okay, because they're going good places with this right now. They're in good strides. You have no idea. So this is the biggest grossing event in an arena event in WWE history. I've yet to find out what that definition means, but I'm going to try to look it up whenever I have free time.
Well, the great thing about this is like, just like what Will Ospreay said on Dynasty's like press conference. The tribalism of wrestling is stupid. I don't know why we're just not happy that wrestling's like pumping. I don't get it. Dynasty was a killer show, and if you want to see what AEW is actually capable of in progressing storylines, starting at Dynasty and going forward with what they've done so far, hell, I think that AEW's on to something right now with storylines. They actually have something that I'm like looking forward to. But WWE's been delivering and delivering and delivering. Even when they were trash, they were still delivering great matches. Like those guys were still putting on, those girls were still putting on great matches. The storylines just weren't there, maybe. But like, it's a company that goes and goes. It's a different level. Like, we need to stop this tribalism stuff. Like, wrestling's healthy. Let it be and be healthy. I'm telling you right now, the Bloodline storyline is legitimately the greatest storyline we have seen in probably the last 20 years. Is gonna where I'm gonna put my number. You put your number where you want to put it, but the last 20 years, it's the best storyline in my opinion.
Right. I get you here. Yeah, I know. AEW does have some elements that could do without, and that's all I'm going to say. If they do without those elements, they probably do a little bit better. But that's...
We're looking at you, Miss Sadie's Monet. I'll say it.
I'm sorry. Useless talent, what? Anyway.
Give me more Will Ospreay.
There you go. All right, so next match here. Here we go. Now, this was pretty decent.
Decent?
This was really good.
I thought this was a great female triple threat match.
Yeah, I do believe. Yeah, this was really good as far as a female triple threat, and I think they did very well. You know, definitely a good stage for Tiffy to get her shine. As far as showing what Naomi and Bailey, what she's all about.
I've always been a critic of Naomi. Like, I love her. Don't get me wrong. I am actually a fan of Naomi. My wife and I have had many shirts of hers. Like, I got a pop upstairs of Naomi. Like, she's one of my chicks, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's not always been the cleanest in the ring, and that's one of my issues with her. But this match showed a very grown Naomi to be in there with Bailey and Tiffany. Like, the match went really well. All three women did really well, in my opinion.
I will say that Naomi did a lot better than usual in this. So she's done better. It's almost to the whole Trinity Fatu of TNA that was.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
She found her rhythm.
Yeah. So and to find a rhythm in a triple threat match is really good, because triple threat is really hard to contend with. It can be hard to contend with if you don't know what you're doing or what you're looking for, and finding that spot to do a move. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So triple threats are not easy to try to compete in. Trust me, they're not.
And the French crowd really wanted Bailey to be their girl.
Oh, man. Yeah. Well, can't blame them. But
no, not at all.
But But this wasn't the actual pinfall, but this is what the end result was. But Tiffany actually, boy, did you see the Alabama slam Tiffany did on?
Oh my
on each
God.
one of them?
Yeah.
Oh my! On the table. Then she rolled them in. She tried the double greatest moonsault ever, or prettiest moonsault ever.
Yeah, prettiest.
And then she had to land her feet missing that. But then the two Naomi and Bailey came up with a 1D, putting her out of the ring, and then actually it ended with a really good schoolboy reversal. Bailey pinning Naomi, and so Bailey retains. So
it was a great showing.
It was a really good solid match. Like I said, everybody was really in tune with what all three had to offer in the ring. So really good. So then we get to our next match here. And now
the
entrance of the night.
100%, bro. Jay's entrance was lit.
Oh my gosh. No, even Triple H called it down on the press conference. Probably Jey Uso's entrance, probably the most thing that took away, or the most memorable thing. And,
Dustin Vaughn on We Talk Wrestling posted about how the Fireflies are out. And I'm like, no, dude, the Fireflies went from the Fireflies to the Yeet Flies. Like they were just, oh my God. And then Michael Cole on commentary, Pat McAfee's not here, so he can't do as usual. Doesn't mean I can't do some yeeting down here because I'm old. Michael Cole is on fire on commentary this week.
Gosh. He has gotten progressively better when they gave him more creativity.
Dude, he is so... If Michael Cole does not go down as one of the greatest commentators of all time, people don't recognize him as the greatest commentator of all time, I'm going to be so mad because that man deserves so much credit. Like, he really does. There are some great commentators out there, but Michael Cole... Yep. He deserves to sit right under Jesse the Body Ventura for me. So,
oh yeah, and each one of them had their own different style.
Oh, 100%.
But the whole thing here is this is why you do not give an entire script for an announcer to read, because you need that organic reaction that they can adapt to. Sure, give them bullet points, great, but don't give them like an entire script. And that's the exact mistake McMahon was doing for the longest time whenever they brought in these Hollywood writers back in 2009, or Freddie Prinze Jr. or whatever the hell. But the thing is, you cannot give these guys bullet points, give them facts, whatever. Sure, that's cool. Feed them into the earpiece, whatever. But don't you can't hold these guys on verbatim, because it just does not work. And now that Michael Cole has been taken off of that, not verbatim, he has gotten at least 200% better than what he was.
Dude, he's so good. But even if you go back and even look at the miner stuff, the coal miners stuff, that stuff was actually pretty dang funny.
Now that was.
So like
that was. Feuded with Lawler,
Yeah.
That was
Michael Cole's the dude.
See, seeing him with just a big orange singlet and some ear guards, and it looks so damn goofy in a singlet.
But back to the two stars in the ring, dude, Jay's entrance though was phenomenal, phenomenal.
But then also let's go over here to Damian, who had the focus and telling the Judgment Day that he did not want any interference.
So he did get the win with the interference, though.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for JD though, he could have possibly lost.
Oh, JD's the hero.
Yeah, so JD,
and he's about to get beat up.
yeah, but eventually it was a huge South of Heaven slam from the top. Even bringing him from the top rope and putting him down and getting the 3. And then after the fact that he won, it was JD and
and Finn.
And Finn, that's right, because Dom's hurt.
Yeah, Dom's hurt.
And then we got a little dissension. Damian wasn't too happy. So looking at Finn, and of course just looking at JD before, telling him to take their spots, and he raised the belt in the air. So he wasn't really thrilled about it. But to be honest, if it wasn't for JD McDonough, he probably would have lost.
Do you think he succumbs to their antics of helping him, or does it dissolve into chaos?
Yeah,
Because
you
his
don't know.
ego.
I think it probably succumbs. I think so. Because let's think about it now here with the Judgment Day, because we have not even mentioned, like I said, I just mentioned Dom. Of course, Dom not really a factor here, but there was something going on between Dom wanting to stepmommy while Rhea's gone, and I think there's some shenanigans going on between him and Liv Morgan right now. I'm telling you.
Call Liv Morgan stepmommy? Dude, if they don't make her the evil stepmommy, I'm gonna be so mad.
The evil stepmommy. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I would buy that shirt and somehow.
I'm so more happy about all of this now.
The evil stepmommy revenge tour.
Yes.
He's mine now.
Oh my god. Wait for Rhea to come back. And like he's still hiding it from her. And like, you know what I'm saying? And then they actually do progress it to like the stepmommy. Like the
Right.
tell you there's something there, bro.
I know there is. So I don't know how long Rhea's going to be out. I'm hopefully she's going to at least beat Survivor Series. I'm hoping, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Scott.
What?
He says.
So JD had a big.
He does have a big head, dude. Okay, so
I'm telling you right now. Put a picture, get a silhouette of JD's head, and put it right next to Frankenberry. It's about the same. It's about the same. Seriously, think about it.
Which? So, when I first got introduced to JD McDonough was through like the UK tournament that WWE did.
Yeah.
Right. And I always thought he was like this weird little like the way his body is shaped. Always threw me off. But dude, that kid can work, man. I love him.
Yeah. No, he can.
I can't wait for him to break out and like find his path, per se.
Right. So let's
hopefully Sifin forming the Bullet Club again.
Jump into the next match. WWE Women's Tag Championship. So Kabuki Warriors defending against Bianca and Jade. And man, I'll tell you, Kabuki Warriors had it out for him. At least had the work cut out for them. And well,
dude, that power bomb into Jaded.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was supposed to have been actually an attempted moonsault. Jade pulled her up, threw her back around, threw her off her shoulders, spread out her knees, caught her, and then put her into the position for Jade and then slammed her down. If you did not see the entire sequence, go back and look at it. You know, I don't care how you can say how light Kari Sane is or whatever. I don't care. But to throw somebody around in 5 different positions before you slam them on the mat is incredible.
Yeah, impressive. The women looked great. All of them. I think both matches did really well. I hope this is totally a rebirth for the tag team division for the women because they have so many good female wrestlers right now out there that need something to do and somewhere to go to build and hone their craft. And like the pairing of Jade and Bianca makes sense, man. It really does. And God dang, did Jade look so good. Yeah. And Asuka with the scary face paint. Like, I loved everything. It was great. But
absolutely. Jade. And like I said, the Kabuki Warriors have been tag champs for quite a while, but that all changed yesterday.
Jade is such my tall glass of chocolate milk. Bro.
Yeah, I know. It's I know. I'm watching a press conference kind of thinking the same thing, but you know,
she's a hottie, dude.
Let's just put it this way. I mean, WWE has a different class of women, so it's not because we're wrestlers. At least I'm a wrestler. You know, he's an announcer just because we're in the business and we don't look elsewhere. Because we know what it takes to exceed in this business and to still to keep yourself looking that good, you're doing something right. So
Hard work and dedication, respect.
hard work and dedication, but congratulations to Bianca and Jade winning the tag straps. I really hope that they hang on this for a good while. Yeah, because I'm excited. I mean, they named off Shayna and Zoe to face off against, Kabuki Warriors again, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven.
My favorite tag team.
Yeah. And then, of course, they name off Caden Carter and Katana Chance. They're going to throw them around like nobody's business.
Roll them. Actually, Caden would be pretty good to watch with those two.
Oh, my gosh. And I can see Jay shooting Katana Chance like a dart. So,
probably true, but just saying, that'd be a pretty decent match.
Can't score her up because she's not tall enough, but, but I digress. But no, congratulations to them. Great match, of course. And it's a good thing that to have at least a mark of history at this show with the title changing hands. And if any title had to change, this had to change. So good call on WWE for this, because obviously I'm kind of spoiled. And if you don't know by now, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, defending the title against AJ Styles. And man, let me tell you.
What a hell of a match.
Oh my goodness, yes. Absolutely. These guys went at it tooth and nail. AJ, of course, trying to stir up Cody a little bit, but eventually, I mean, the setup toward the end with how Cody sprung to the top and hit the Cody cutter, springing from the top rope. I mean, the way that he caught AJ and how he had to fold up and spring back.
This match was gnarly, dude. They were all over the place. And so Dave Meltzer said, and I'm not a fan of Dave Meltzer either, people, don't worry. But Dave Meltzer said, and for the first time I agree with him, it's a new era in professional wrestling, or specifically in WWE. It's a new era because that was not a main event that Vince McMahon would have booked. That match was not built on a story. That match was built on the fact that you had two goddamn good wrestlers going out there and performing wrestling. And that's exactly how the story, because they told their story in the ring. There was a little bit of storytelling up to this point.
Yeah.
But they really told that story in that ring, and they painted that canvas in that ring with everything. And that was such a stellar match.
And if you fast forward through this match, then you've got
you're a dork.
ADD, my friend.
No pun intended. No.
Yep.
We were talking about that earlier, Skylar, how the crowd was just like blaring. It was amazing.
Maybe you forgot that we started at 7:00 this week.
Hey, it's okay.
Or 8 Eastern this week, but of course we'll go back to our regular time. But
he's a chocolate milk one too, so they're always late.
Oh. Wow. Okay. Only you can go there for Skylar. I'm not.
Skylar's my boy. That's my brother.
That's Super Cody Cutter, and then only took one crossroads after that. And there you go. And congratulations to Jessica Carr
for being the first woman to main event
World
or main event a pay-per-view as the ref.
Right. The main event, the world.
Yeah, see, he's half and half, actually. God dang it.
I'm not saying a word. I could. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it on live TV. You're not going to catch me saying this. This is recorded. I'm not going to say it.
I got
off
you, Sky.
Camera. Use the bathroom off camera. That's how it's going to be. So.
We bonded on our hatred for the Hardys. So. And many other things. In a line of smelly indie wrestling fans.
Oh my gosh. Y'all are gonna go by Dollar Tree and buy all the speed sticks and hand them out. So oh my god. I know what that means.
I'm not gonna.
Gosh.
I won't put that one up there. Skyler.
Yeah, it's in the chat. You have to look on Facebook if you want to see that. So that's crazy. Oh my god,
Skyler, I miss you, buddy.
Oh shoot, but no, but that I was going to say, if you missed out on WWE Backlash France, I know we went over everything, and of course WWE.com's got all the results, everything else. But you know that's how we roll. We kind of go over that. But no, next big. Did you realize that the next PLE for WWE or pay per view in the United States is SummerSlam? Everything else is out of the dang country,
and I think it's a great move right now because you have NXT for the home shows,
right?
So, what better way to grow NXT than to have them travel and do their pay per views here and there? And stuff, and really start building bigger audience. And WWE goes, okay, now we're going to take the main show this way. Like, they are a global wrestling company. Like, okay,
truly,
let's talk about that little manic troll that hurt his neck for a minute, named Tony Khan, that thinks his promotion's a global company. Like, they've done a couple cool things out of state. 100%. Not taken away from AEW. Once again, I am not a hater of AEW. I don't want to see AEW sink. I want to see them succeed, and I want to see wrestling thrive for everyone. So I am somebody that really just loves professional wrestling. But Tony Khan is not on the global level of WWE. I'm sorry.
No, not. No.
Yes, they've had some maybe lower audience, like in Australia. People are like, oh, they had such a low audience. Really? What has Tony Khan done in AEW down there in Australia? Like, let's be real, guys. They are selling out and that's what their goal is. Their goal is to be that global juggernaut. So let NXT fight AEW down here on the state side, and then they're over here. Like, it's not a bad thing. It's a really good thing for wrestling. Hopefully, it makes New Japan Pro Wrestling. It makes TNA. It makes OVW, SICW, IEW, ACW. You name the promotion, work harder. Work harder. That's all it is. Stop worrying about the boy next door. Just work harder and do your stuff.
As long as you're pulling in the crowd and you're pulling in something that's going to give you in the not make you go in the red, but yet go up higher in the black. No pun intended. Then yeah, it's exactly. That's what you want. You want to stay in the positive. You want to keep growing in the positive. But if you keep falling back in the red, like I said, these big contracts with AEW, I'm sorry, you can't tell me that AEW is not losing money. You cannot tell me that with a straight face. Okay?
And I'm okay with them losing money. Just make sure they make good shows so I can put your money where I want it to be because, well, now I want to spend money with you.
Getting all these legends or these people that, have nowhere else to go, but yet they thought they were names for themselves and they were needle movers. Yeah, they're finding out they're not even hardly being used, or going to put them in somewhere and still not going to move the needle.
Yeah, that really does beg the question. Like, I love Edge, but was he really a star?
I just can't get used to the fact of calling rated R superstar Adam Copeland. It's just like,
oh, that doesn't bother me.
It sounds like the high school athlete giving himself a fucking okay. It's like it doesn't sound right. Yeah, guess what they called me in high school? It's like
I'm mean Mark Tucker.
I mean, it's like you almost like you might as well just go heel and join your buddy and be the dad coalition, okay? Because no one cares about you being a rated R superstar anymore. They don't. At least I don't.
He's the rated R dad.
The rated R dad.
That's what. I mean, Christian need to form a heel tag team called the Rated R Dads, and just them being shitty dads.
Yeah, can I ask you something? What do you want, you piece of
And then you bring Dan the Dad in from from Glory Pro to beat them both because he's the real dad that we all need.
Can you imagine Dan the Dad along with Christian and then Edge?
Dude, I would so. Oh my God, I didn't even think about that part. Tony Khan, you want me in? I need Dan the Dad hanging out with the greatest dad, Christian.
Oh, yeah. Call it the FFC, the Father Figure Coalition. There you go.
Yes! Oh my God, I love it. This is
Tony,
beautiful.
I gave you an idea. I don't care if you run with it or not. You're welcome. I gave you a dumb idea. You're probably going to run with it. So go ahead.
That's another reason why I like AEW. I like AEW because it is a meme. Like if you just look at. Okay, so like I fell in love with NXT because like when they changed NXT to the Fruity Pebble era, right?
Lord, we have to bring that.
I'm like, what is going on? I don't understand it. The more I watched it, the more I realized it was just shitty 90s sitcoms. Like it's Dawson's Creek, Saved by the Bell. Like that's all it is shitty 90s sitcoms for kids.
Can I say
AEW is a meme?
Can I say about that NXT kind of made that mistake with Spring Breaking? It almost looked like they had the Saved by the Bell.
I'm not even. Don't even be mad about it. Just roll with it.
Stop bringing that up, guys. That's what got you in trouble in the first place. And I even thought about trying to discuss NXT's possible drop of viewership, but that almost leads me to believe that where does NXT go? That Dragunov's been drafted. Vakara's been drafted. Dijak has been drafted as Dijak Djokovic or whatever, not as T-Bar or whatever the hell he was. With
Thank God.
Like that. Oh my God! You talk about a faction that sucked, but man, I mean, but you know, you got some of these big stars. Some of your big stars are now going up to the major brands now. So who's going to step forward to the NXT? I really am not really sold into Trick Williams yet. I've got to watch.
Oh, stop it!
Yeah, I mean,
whoop that trick.
Yeah,
Trick Williams is the bomb, dude.
I know it's just I'm not really too sold on it right now, but maybe I'll change once I start watching some more. I've actually watched a couple this past week's Level Up on a couple matches were pretty decent. So, you know.
So, are you saying home improvement in your Booker T voice? Home
improvement.
That was Macho, man. That wasn't Booker T.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay. Booker T is one of my favorite wrestlers, right?
Yeah.
I've always loved him in the ring. And the whole reason I love Trick Williams, it's a young Booker T. Trick Williams is this generation's Booker T, and I'm all there for it. Just like Dijakovic is this generation's boss man. Fight me on that one.
True.
That is big boss man all the way.
Yeah.
You don't like Trick? Oh, you don't like Trick at all?
Yeah. So, like I said,
okay.
Skylar's in my boat this week.
Skylar's a loser.
Talent. So, give me something that I can sell with here, Trick. So,
why do you not like him, Skylar? Why do you not like Trick? Oh no, you do. Okay. You scared me. I'm like, what the hell? Like, why are you not liking Trick? Like, wait a minute. Trick's stellar on the mic.
Yeah.
He has great mic presence, and that's why I like him so much.
Yeah.
And he's good in the ring.
Well, I'll tell you what. You know, like I said, we could discuss this. You know, we may save this discussion for another day, but you know, we've been on here for quite a while. Yeah, it's only 9:30, but you know, we sit here straight for 2.5 hours. It kind of gets to here a little bit, but especially I haven't left my chair since.
I need to go find some dinosaurs.
Yeah, I hear you.
Maybe some GTA.
Yeah, I know. I'll probably have to get that here in a while. But guys, what we're going to do here is we're going to sign up here for tonight. We think if you missed any part of the show because we went on earlier, great interview with Scott and Romer. Go back and watch it. And when it becomes available on replay, once again on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and of course, on X at FCE Podcast. Of course, all of our other channels at Falls Count everywhere. Next week, we will have the one and only Herb Simmons, who is the reason behind SICW FanFest 2, organizing all this. And we will discuss everything coming up FanFest, everything that's been going on with SICW. Maybe talk about some more memories, because he's talked about maybe some of the other stories he's encountered with some of Scott and Romer's affiliates throughout his career.
You remember how I told you last week that when we had Big Texan on that we could take the night off?
When?
We're going to be able to take the night off again next week.
Right. Oh,
it's going to be such a breeze just to sit down, Mr. Herb. Like,
yeah.
That's the dude.
Yeah. Okay. I thought you literally meant the night off, but
no, we're not going to take. I'm not going to leave her in the room. That man can't even work a computer very well or a cell phone. Like, you know that he can't.
Yeah,
he'll even say it. Like, we can't leave him in here. Like, you guys left me one day and I just took over the show and did my thing.
Yeah.
By the way, new merch.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's bring this right back up here one more time. If we announced at the beginning of the show. Where is it? Oh no, I actually had the
yeah.
Hold on.
I was trying to find the QR code thing.
Yeah,
get the mic out of the way.
Let me go ahead and share this.
Yeah.
Get it out of here. Here we go.
P-Monkey.
Here we go. Get yours now. The official We Talk Wrestling shirt is now available through the wokebrand.com. You can go to the woke brand. That's WHOAQ.com. That's that QR code will take you right to the order screen. They have to custom make the shirt, so it will take about a few weeks. But when you look at the artwork and the detail of the fabric,
dude, it's nice.
And in fact, I should have brought next time. I need to find a picture or the collage picture of all of your kids wearing the same shirt.
Oh, the cute photo that my wife took.
Yeah,
this was all okay. So quick story. This is all because of my wife. My wife and Terry Russell Rush, one of my good friends, also the guy that does my entrance music, legitimately did all this behind my back for me. I've been wanting shirts for We Talk Wrestling, like actual shirts, so the guys could rep the the thing like we do with Falls Count Everywhere. Like, so we might have a new home, dude. Woke affiliates.
I gotta tell you, I'm a little jealous of this shirt. It's
wait till you see it, buddy. You're gonna be like, dude.
Yeah.
But
it's gonna be almost worth the $50 to spend to get one. So I mean, because that's what it's gonna take for my big old ass.
And they're tight. Okay, so mine's a 2X, and it's a little snug on me. But just remember that, like, mine's a 2X.
Yeah, I don't want my my Manchester protrude that much. So through a shirt.
No, I'm happy to have this. Thank you, Terry, and thank you, Amy, for being such big supporters of me and always pushing me to do better and continue going. I've been down as of late. Most people don't know some behind the scenes stuff, but I've been down, and they did this for me without me realizing it. So I can't do anything without my wife. I literally can't. She's my right hand. So I appreciate her.
Your wife's a good lady because I will let everybody else here know, and I didn't let you know because she actually asked me about shirts for you and all that. And I'm like, hey, I'm willing to help whatever you can. If you need my help, I'm here. Just let me know. But I'm glad she went this route, though, because I don't think I could have done this excellent of a job for a shirt. I'm actually fascinated by this shirt. It looks sharp and with the detail. And when I hear about the fabric, I bet it's comfortable as hell, too.
Oh, yeah, dude. It's really nice. It's breathable.
It's like
one of those sports jerseys. So like for the cornholers out there, for the cornholers or your basketball, your baseball guys, like it's that material, like it's that breathable, good fishing material. Like, so if you want to go fishing and look really cool and snazzy, get your We Talk Wrestling stuff, right? I like to fish,
man. Yeah. The sad thing is, if I decide to try to order today, I won't be able to get it at the Fan Fest, but it's okay. I mean, but it's all right.
I don't know, maybe if I can find out which one it is. But yeah, he's, like I said, I can't thank Terry enough. Like, the dude has been one of my backers. But then again, I've also been one of his backers. He was a local artist around here for a long time. Like I said, once again, he did my entrance music. And I absolutely loved his music. So the dude's built from the same cloth that I am. I love the guy to death. Could not be here without him.
So is it the same entrance music that I've heard before?
Keep it down.
Huh?
Hold on.
We might get a chance to hear it before we go. Yeah. So no.
Yep. Yeah, hold on.
That's okay.
Oh wait, no, I won't be able to because it got taken off Spotify.
Terry,
get it fixed. Yeah, because that's all. Like, you got to pay for that stuff, dude.
Man,
I got to get his music. Like, his music's good, dude. I have one of the albums in right now. His Beast album back in that was like 2010, somewhere in there. And the guy was awesome. He's rap, but like, I have a little hip hop in me, I like a little. So, but no, he's a good dude, and I'm glad that he's part of We Talk Wrestling. I'm glad he's part of my life. Like, I cannot thank that man enough. I will never have the words.
Yeah, well, that's awesome, man. And I wish we'd love to hear that song, but for that, this is for you, Spotify.
You suck.
Wait. Maybe I still have it. Hold on. Now I'm pissed.
So, like I said, while you're doing that, once again, I want to say congratulations to Zmiz here with Retalk Wrestling, getting this out here. I mean, I just love this. And also, congratulations once again to GQ, completing 27 years in the business just this past weekend. Even though he didn't have a show, whatever, but still, he put in his time, and he's still into it. I've completed 28 years not that long ago. I'm going into my 29th year as we speak. So, like I say, you guys, you'll catch us once again. We're going to be doing a live broadcast once again Saturday at the Fan Fest, May 18th, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. That's going to be our scheduled time to do the broadcast. So we're going to be doing a 4-hour live broadcast. Well, hopefully we're going to get some of the stars and legends in to kind of talk with a little bit, whoever wants to come by the table. And
I can't find it. I'm so mad.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right, bud. But we're going to be reminding you once again, hopefully I'll be getting some artwork for that to let people know about it. So once again, if you come into the Fan Fest, make sure you tell us hi. make sure you let us know that you listen into the show, what you like about it, because we definitely want our feedback. And we want to keep going. And we're going to be ready to go come Saturday, May 18th for that live broadcast. And of course, after we shut down, we kind of chill a little bit. Then I got to get stretched and get ready for that Bruiser Brody Memorial Battle Royal that night. So,
and who knows? We might pull any of you fans right up behind the camera and see what you like about the SICW Fan Fest.
That's right. You just never know. We're going to be available with mics in hand. So,
Ooh, I'm gonna walk that room again. See if I can.
Hey, we're working on that. We're gonna work on something to that nature. So if you're able to walk or whatever, we just kind of need a volunteer cameraman that could help with you too. Or if you want to just do selfie mode as you're going through, whatever the case may be, we'll talk about that.
Either way, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, either way here. But guys, once again, we thank you very much for joining us here this week. We are going to be out of here. We're back to our regular time next week, starting at 9 p.m. Central. Our guest of honor will be the one and only Herb Simmons, talking all about SICW Fan Fest 2 and all things coming up for SICW. And of course, the best parts about St. Louis wrestling overall. So, for the Gem City Mouse and Miz and the absent GQ, I am Rough Cut Rick Ruby. Thank you all very much for joining us here this week for episode number 145 of the Falls Count Everywhere podcast, where Scott Romer was our guest. And we will see you next week, once again, 9 p.m. Central. And we're looking forward to seeing you then. So take care. Have a great week. And have a good Mother's Day, by the way. Take care of your mothers. Those who are, that have your mothers around, make sure you treasure them, cherish them, do something nice for them. They come back and listen to us Sunday night at 9 o'clock. So you guys have a good week. We'll see you then. Peace out. Thanks again for tuning into tonight's episode of the Falls Counts Everywhere podcast. Don't forget our friends at the following: Keeping It Cool with Tyler Cooley, the Squared Ring podcast, and We Talk Wrestling. The Falls Count Everywhere podcast is an LTX Enterprises production.